Hey y'all, welcome back. This is Michelle from Michelle's Empty Nest, and today we are going to do a quick flip through of my Finding Joy in July album. And here is my spine. I just typed this up and cut it out from some plain cardstock. And I have enjoyed stamping on fabric lately, and so I have a couple of projects where I just stamped right onto the album cover. And that's what I did at the end of the project. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do anything on the front. And so I used my favorite alpha for right now, which is the Heidi Swapp Classic Heidi Alpha. And I just like the size. I like that it's an open font and it's just kind of versatile. So this is what I used to stamp this on the front, and I just did like the hashtag and obviously abbreviated it instead of trying to stamp all that out. Now the album that I'm using is a green linen album from Ali Edwards. And originally I had just started using an album that I already had on hand. But when I picked my color scheme in my kit, which I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, I knew that this album that I had been keeping my eye on in Ali's shop would be the perfect match for what my color scheme was. So I did end up ordering this album just for this project. All right, so let's go ahead and look. Actually, first let's talk about what I did to get ready for this project. So I knew I needed to make it simple and easy to do every day because I have several projects going at the time typically, and I didn't need this to be something that was going to be way complicated. So I found a card. It was a little floral card that was mainly pink florals and had some greens in there. And I have always loved pink and green as a color scheme. I remember even back to high school, that was like my favorite color scheme. So I knew I wanted to do that. So I just took a pouch and I picked out a bunch of mostly 3x4 cards that had pink or green. And I picked out some 4x6 cards, a few 3x6 and 3x8s from the Hip Kit Club. Most of these I think came from Studio Calico and Ali Edwards, but there's just kind of some mixed from other places as well as far as cards go. And then I also went ahead and pulled the things that I thought I would want to embellish with. So I found this from my Felicity Jane stash, and I thought a few of those might work. So I pulled that. And then I pulled out several of my Citrus Twist Kit Puffy Hearts. They are my favorite Puffy Hearts. I have several duplicates. So I pulled those out. And then I knew I wanted to have my numbering be consistent throughout the album. So I had this Feed Your Craft in a pink, and they're like a little puffy rectangle. And I had 2 sets. So I knew that between the 2 of them, I would have enough to do every day of this album. And I just kept it all in this pouch, and it just made it very easy every day to pull from it. And I did have this. This is what's left from some Felicity Jane ephemera that I had chosen ahead of time, again, with those pinks and greens on all of those pieces as well. All right, so I started off with this tag from Ali Edwards, and I'm pretty sure this came from a December daily or a December kit. And just did the tag or tab with July 2021. And I started it off with this one with Such Good Vibes, just a 3x8 card. And then I did a reason why, and I'll have close-ups at the end if you'd like to stop and read that about Leslie starting the project and everything. And then we go right into my days. And so for every day, I put the number from that puffy set from Feed Your Craft, and then I either put one of those little stickers from the Felicity Jane set, or I put a puffy heart. Most days it was a puffy heart. So the first day I was talking about how my little Yorkie gets up on my chest and lays down to take a nap. And then the next day, Great Dane was in my craft room with me by my desk chair, so I thought that was a good moment to capture. And since I am an empty nester and I don't work outside of the home, my things are related to what's in my home for the most part. So sometimes it's just things that brought me joy. Like on this day, I tried Coke with coffee for the first time and it was delicious. So I documented that. Then on the 4th, since it was July 4th, I took a picture of our flag outside and then just typed out the Pledge of Allegiance and used that for my joy. I had tried going to a Get to Work book again. I tried a couple years ago. It just didn't work out for what I needed then. But I ordered the July start, and even just in those first few days, it really was what I needed for right now with the things that I'm trying to document and keep track of. So I was very happy about that. Joy from my coffee cup. And a lot of these cards, I really have no idea specifically where some of them came from. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. On this day, I had come across some old photos from it was my junior prom and my husband's senior prom. We were high school sweethearts. And so I found those photos and that just really brought me a lot of joy that day. So I just took a snapshot of them. And then for day 8, it was pouring rain outside, so I kicked back in my recliner and turned on Animal Crossing from my Nintendo Switch and played and had my girl dressed up in rain gear and just had a good time. I really enjoy playing this game. It's a lot of fun. My children gave me this Switch for my 50th birthday last year, so it was a gift from my boys. Then for this day, I used another 3x8 card, typed or stamped my favorite. And then it was a real painful day, so I took a long soak with some Epsom salt. And my little Yorkie was up trying to sniff and smell, so she got her head in the picture as well. And then I've just put Velcro dots to hold that together. All right, on this day, the front of the card is, or the tag is, I didn't put anything over this. I wanted the joy to show up. It was another one of those from an Allie Edwards set. I put a tab, and then this joy was about eating Extreme Moose Tracks ice cream, which I love, and so that was my joy that day. Then for day 11, I got these cats for my 50th birthday last year as well. They are Siamese sisters. They're litter mates, Stella and Margot. And they just make me laugh with trying to still fit in this little poof that's getting way too small for both of them, but they pile up and just lay in some really crazy positions in there. So I use them for that day. On this day, I just documented the fact that I was really enjoying sharing my projects on Instagram and, you know, the joy from getting a like or a comment, having a little conversation back and forth. So that's what I used for day 12. Day 13 is just small. I cut down a 3x8 or pocket where it had the 2 3x4s. So it would just have one because this picture was small. It's a little C3PO, and I have him because when I had neck surgery, I had to wear a hard collar for many months. And so when I would specifically be walking around in the grocery store trying to look up and down the aisles, my husband and my children told me that I looked like C3PO, and it just kind of became a joke. So when I found this, like a year later, I just had to buy him, and I store some washi in there. All right, so day 14, I documented Time Hop. I have been using this app for 5 years, a little over 5 years now. I look at it every day and scroll through and see those memories, and it really makes me happy to be able to do that. And then to back this, since it didn't really match with what I was using for the size for the next day, this was just a piece of Basil cardstock that I played around doing a bunch of different splatters with a bunch of different spray products that I have. And so I just cut that off and put it in there, and it ended up looking pretty good with this next day. So then for day 15, I just talked about how I was happy to have had a full day for crafting and working on projects, and really the joy that I get from not having to do so much fussy cutting because I have my Cameo that can do it for me. I'm not a fussy cutting fan. All right, then on this day, these are both just very small stories, so I just put them in one: a fresh manicure, and then my husband brought me home this little USB fan that I can plug into my phone, and it puts off a little bit of air. It's kind of nice. Now this one is another one of those from Ali Edwards, and I went ahead and just put the picture on the front because it said Finding Joy in Every Day down here at the bottom. And I was documenting the fact that I had changed my name on my YouTube channel to Michelle's Empty Nest and just kind of rebranded a little bit with the art at the top. And again, you see I'm using the same formula each day where there's a puffy heart and there's the numbers. And then usually my journaling is on a label unless there was a little bit of room left over. And for each of the tags, I tried to pick a ribbon, you know, that complemented it fairly well. I always like to put something in top of those tags. And then I put the pattern paper on the back of this one along with a Felicity Jane die cut. This day I documented when my Extravagant Hope mail arrived. If you ever get a chance to subscribe to Extravagant Hope from Brandy Kincaid, it is so uplifting and just full of goodness. So I would encourage you, even if you just do it for 1 month, to try that. Then on this day, Crystal Idunyate was doing a, I think she just came on kind of as like a guest that day. And she gave this as a handout. And at the end of the handout, she listed some people that she liked the way that they journal. And I'm doing a terrible job of telling this story, but I think it was through Victoria Marie Designs, and she came on and talked about writer's block and telling stories. So when I got to the end of this handout, because I had to go back and watch a replay, I did not get a chance to see it live. When I saw my name on there with all of these other people who I think so highly of, I mean, my heart filled up and I had some tears in my eyes. So I was so appreciative of her, and I asked if she minded that I include that, and she said that I could certainly share it. All right, for day 21, I was having a rough day, pain-wise, did not feel like cooking supper, and so my husband brought home just a plain old McDonald's hamburger and fries, and that brought me joy that day. For day 22, I got my order of the new Tim Holtz Distress Ink color, the Prize Ribbon, which is a beautiful blue color. It came in the mail, and the last few colors that have come out, I've just ordered that whole set. It ends up being a little cheaper. I wouldn't have normally ordered the re-inkers, but you know, I figured what the heck, it's nice to have them on hand if I need them later. All right, so another one of those tags. This one says Bring on the Joy. And then I backed it with this black pattern paper that has the little white crosses. And you may think this is disgusting, but my favorite way to eat spaghetti is noodles with just regular scrambled up browned hamburger meat and some salt and pepper. That's my favorite way to eat spaghetti. So we had that day, and it brought me joy for sure. All right, day 24, I'm talking about my Blistex. Or chapstick, whatever you want to call it. This is my favorite kind of chapstick, and I ordered in bulk from Amazon. They usually come like in 10 or 15 at the time in a big bulk pack, because I keep these things everywhere. I use chapstick all the time. I have one on my craft table. I have one on my desk, which are both in the same room. I keep one in my bathroom, in my purse. I keep one kind of hidden in the living room. So anywhere I go, I am going to have that chapstick with me. So a new shipment had come in, and that definitely brought me joy. All right, I did another little flip out for this day. I think this one was paper I cut down. I don't think it was a 3x8 card. And I used some Felicity Jane hearts and just attached those on there. Stamped Looking for Joy. And this day I had not turned on my old laptop. It was from 2012. I had not turned it on in months. And there were some things on there that I had not yet transferred that weren't on a shared drive. So I wanted to fire it up and see if I could get to those things. And lo and behold, there it came. And it even still had my week in the life journaling for 2020 on the screen. That was what came up. So it was there waiting for me. Day 26, I had another rough day with pain and spent pretty much the whole day in bed. And this was my view, just staring up at our ceiling and the ceiling fan. But my joy was that I have the freedom and the flexibility to do that. My husband works very hard to make up for the fact that my health doesn't allow me to work. And so that, it sounds like a strange joy, but I do have joy in the fact that I have that freedom and flexibility to stop and rest when my body says it needs it. All right, so then we've got a story about me getting ready for my August project, the Me, Myself, and I, and I was just kind of going through a list and checking it off, and that makes me happy. This day, the Outdoors collection had arrived from Allie Edwards, and so I used it, just printed a picture small to fit into that tag. Didn't really have orange in my color scheme, but it just kind of worked with all her little labels, and so I used the orange heart and the label, and then I stapled a little lace there and just went ahead and embraced the orange and put, this was from Amy Tangerine. Then on day 29, I was documenting the fact that I had reached 300 followers on Instagram, which I know is minuscule to many, but I was very happy to reach that number. Day 30, cats again. They have a little pillow from IKEA that goes in one of my Calyx cubes, and they will get in there and hang out all day and sleep and cuddle together. And then on this day, I had uploaded my first video to YouTube in about 8 years. I used to do videos related to teaching and the products that I created for the classroom. I was a math and science middle school teacher in a previous life. And so I took down most of the videos that were there, kind of did the rebranding, and then uploaded my first video. And so that was joyful as well. And then I stamped out Create Joy there. And then for the back, I just used some more Amy Tangerine paper and cut that down to fit into the pocket. So that is it. I will say all of these little stamps that I put in the tabs, those were from an Allie Edwards stamp, and it was actually a December Daily stamp that just had tons of little small words and phrases. But, you know, they were related to this project as well. Here's the story, super thankful. There was the one about Create Joy. So it worked out pretty well. My favorite, it came from there as well. And the labels that I used, I'll show you those real quick. They are from Illustrated Faith, and you can get some different color combinations. I also went in and just recolored some in Photoshop to be, you know, to give me more variety. And I also shrank them down to put like 2 pages on one page to print out. And that way I could have more than one size. And a lot of times if I cut off some, I'll save that other part and possibly be able to use it later. And I just keep them on my desk in this bowl. They're on white sticker paper, so they're very easy to attach once I write the journaling on there. So that's what I used for that. Okay, we're going to call this one done. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I appreciate you being here. I will try to link a few things down below that I've used that I know for sure where they came from. And if you enjoyed this video, I would certainly appreciate you hitting that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also find me over on Instagram. I went through this on a daily basis over there with photos as well. And it is just at michelles.empty.nest over there. And I hope you all have an amazing day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.